Welcome back friends in one more video on measures of central tendency, and in this video we will discuss about arithmetic mean. Among different groups of measures of central tendency, mathematical average includes arithmetic mean, geometric mean and harmonic mean. Among them, arithmetic mean will be covered in this video lecture. Arithmetic mean is also known as most commonly used measures of central tendency, and simply is also known as mean only, which can be defined as it is a value obtained by computing the sum or total of the entire set of scores, then dividing this sum by the total number of scores. Or conceptually, the mean can also be defined as the amount that each individual receives when total is divided equally among all individuals. Or in other words, it is a balance point of the distribution because the sum of the distance below the mean is exactly equal to the sum of the distances above the mean. The mean of a sample is denoted by x bar and the mean of a complete population is denoted by mu. The mean of n data item x1, x2, xn is given by the formula x bar equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on up to xn, and divided by total number of individuals, or in simple words, mean is equal to summation x divided by total number of observations. These are the properties of arithmetic mean. Because the calculation of the mean involves each and every score of the distribution, therefore any change in the value of any score will result in the change value of a mean, or any modification in the distribution by discarding a score or by adding any new score will usually change the value of mean. If we will add a constant value to each score in the distribution, then the same constant value is automatically added to the mean. Or also, if every score is multiplied by the constant value, then the mean is also multiplied by the same constant value. Although the mean is the most commonly used measures of the central tendency, there are some situations where the mean does not provide a good representative value, and there are situations where we cannot compute a mean at all, such as when a distribution contains few extremely high scores or extremely low scores, the mean will be pulled toward the extreme. In this case, the mean will not provide a central value. When data from a nominal or it is based on ranks, it is usually inappropriate to compute a mean. Thus, the mean does not always work as a measure of central tendency, and in some case, it will become necessary to use alternate procedure, and median, mode, geometric mean are those alternate methods which will be discussed in our coming videos. These are the merits and demerits of mean. Merit include its rigid definition, its easy understanding and calculation, and above all, it is based upon all the value of the given data. With the help of arithmetic mean, we can also compare the mean of two different data sets, and there are many mathematical analyses which are based upon arithmetic mean, and it is not much affected by sampling fluctuation. These are the demerits of mean. It cannot be calculated if any observations are missing. It cannot be calculated for the data with open-end classes without assumption. As we have already discussed, it is affected by extreme values, and it is very difficult to locate it graphically. It may be a number which is not present in the data. For example, if we will calculate the mean of 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 and 8, the mean value will be 5, and which is actually not present in our data. And the last demerit of mean is that it cannot be calculated for the data which is based upon qualitative characteristics, such as if we want to calculate the average skin color or hair color, it is not possible to calculate by mean. For that kind of average, we need alternative methods such as median. Calculation of arithmetic mean. The number one is calculation of arithmetic mean in a series of individual observation. As we can see in this example, there are 10 families showing the total number of siblings per family, and we have to calculate the average number of siblings per family. We have to add all the number of siblings and divide it by total number of family. So the total number of siblings are 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 and so on will be 29, and there are 10 families, that's why total number of observation will be 10. 29 divided by 10 will give us 2.9 siblings. Therefore, we can say that in this example, 2.9 is the average number of siblings per family. Example number 2 is based upon the marks obtained by a student in his 10 class tests, and we have to calculate the average marks. In the same manner, we will add all these marks and divide it by total number of tests, and the final result will be 15.4. In example 3, we have to calculate the mean number of branches per plant based upon the following data set. In the same manner, we will add all the number of branches, which will give result summation x equal to 120. So 120 divided by 10 will give us 12. All these three examples were based upon the direct method. We can also solve with a shortcut method. But before starting shortcut method, we should know what is shortcut method. This method can be used for all kind of data set. However, it is preferable method where observations are large to avoid the considerable difficulty in the calculation of arithmetic mean. It is based upon property of sum of deviation from mean are always 0. For example, if we are calculating the mean of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, it will give us result, and the deviation will be -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2 and +3, and the total of all these deviation will be 0. Therefore, we can assume an arbitrary mean to find out the deviation from this assumed mean. Total deviation divided by total observation added with the assumed mean will give us a exact mean. Or in simple formula, we can say x bar or arithmetic mean will be equal to assumed mean plus summation of deviation from the mean of assumed mean and divided by total number of observation. This is the same example 3 in which we have calculated arithmetic mean by direct method. And here we are showing the calculation of arithmetic mean by shortcut method or assumed mean method. In this, we have assumed that our mean is 10, and then we have calculated its deviation from the actual number of branches, and which is showing in the column number 3. And the total of summation d is equal to 26 minus 6 is 20. If we will put these value in the formula, x bar or arithmetic mean will be 10, that is assumed mean, plus 20, which is the summation of the deviation, divided by 10, which is the total number of observation, will give us the value 12, and we get the same value by direct method. It is showing that it's no matter whether we are using the direct method or we are using the shortcut method, our arithmetic will not change. In the second category, this is the calculation of arithmetic mean in a discrete series. For computation of the arithmetic mean in a discrete series, or where the frequency is given, the value of the variables are multiplied by their respective frequencies. We can calculate mean by direct method or shortcut method, and again we will get the same result. These are the formula of direct method and shortcut method. Here n and summation f are the same, but in both the cases the actual meaning is total number of observation. This is the example 4, and we will calculate the arithmetic mean of the given data by direct method. These are the number of leaves per branches. In the second row it is given total number of plant. We will make a third column in which we will write product of fx, and the total number of plant will be summation f, that is equal to 100. If we will add 10 plus 12 and up to 14, 12, it will give us 100. In the same manner, summation of fx will give result 1203. And if we will put this value in formula, our arithmetic mean will be calculated as 12.3. Therefore, in this example, we can say average number of leaves per plant is 12.3. This is the example number 5, and in which we will calculate the average number of room per family with the help of shortcut method. Although we can assume any number as an assumed mean, but for the simplicity we have taken 5 as an assumed mean. And in the third column we have written the deviation of that assumed mean from the actual value. And in the column number 4 we have written product of frequency and deviation. Total number of families in this example, or summation f, is equal to 680 in this example. And the product of frequency with deviation is minus 1370. If we will put these value in the formula, arithmetic mean equal to assumed mean plus summation fd divided by summation f, we will get arithmetic mean value is 2.985. This is the third method of calculation of arithmetic mean, where we have data in a continuous series. For computation of the arithmetic mean in a continuous series, mean may be calculated after taking into consideration the midpoint of the various classes. However, the method will be the same for both inclusive or exclusive class intervals. This is the formula to calculate the midpoint of a class, which can be denoted either by x or by m, which is equal to lower limit plus upper limit of the class divided by 2. As we have already discussed in discrete series, we can calculate arithmetic mean by direct methods or shortcut methods. In this example, we have to calculate the average plant height, and the heights are given in a continuous series. So, first, after calculating the total number of frequency or total number of plant, which is 100 in this case, we have to make a extra column for midpoint. And we can see that the midpoint of 0 to 10 is 5, 10 to 20 is 15, 20 to 30 is 25, and so on. In the fourth column, we will write the product of this midpoint along with their respective frequencies. And the total of summation fx in this example is 2770. Then we will put these two values of summation f and summation fx, and we will get the result 27.7. So we can say that the average plant height in this example is 27.7 centimeter. This is another example of continuous series, but this series is different from the previous example. As in the previous example, the lower limit of one class was the higher limit of the preceding class, whereas there is no such overlapping in this example. But method will remain same. First of all, in this example, we have to calculate the midpoint. Like in our last example, we can calculate it by adding lower and higher limit divided by 2, and same way 1 plus 5 divided by 2 will give us 3, 6 plus 10 divided by 2 will give us 8, and so on. And then again we can assume any number as mean, but for simplicity we have taken 10. In the fourth column we will write the deviation of our assumed mean from the midpoint. Like 3 minus 10 is giving minus 7, 8 minus 10 is giving minus 2, 13 minus 10 is giving 3, and so on. And in the fourth column, we will write the product of this deviation along with their respective frequency. And the total of these products are 435. And if we will put these value in the formula, you will get the average number 14.35. So we can say that on an average per pond there are 14.35 fishes present. And the last is calculation of weighted mean. Weighted mean is an average computed by giving different weight to some of the individual value. If all the weights are equal, then there is no difference between a weighted mean or arithmetic mean. But if a certain extra weight is given to some individual than other, then weighted mean will be different from the arithmetic mean. The weighted mean for given set of non-negative data such as x1, x2, x3 and so on up to xn with their non-negative weights such as w1, w2, w3 and so on up to wn can be derived from the formula. Weighted mean will be equal to product of weight and individual divided by total number of weights. Weighted mean generally behave in a similar approach to arithmetic mean. They do have a few counter-instinct properties. Data elements with high weight contribute more to the weighted mean than do elements with a low weight. Weight cannot be negative. However, sometimes it may be zero, but not all of them. Here is an example to calculate the weighted mean, where the marks are given in percentage of weekly test, assignment, practical and end semester exam, and their weightage are different. So, if we will multiply the marks with their respective weightage, we will get the product of Wx, and the summation of overall weightage are 10, whereas the summation of this product will be 793. Therefore, the actual weighted average will be 79.3%. So, we can say in this example, a student got on an average 79.3% marks in their overall weekly test, assignment, practical and end semester exam. Merits and demerits of weighted mean are almost same as arithmetic mean. Like arithmetic mean, weighted mean are summation of this product will be 793. Therefore, the actual weighted average will be 79.3%. So, we can say in this example, a student got on an average 79.3% marks in their overall weekly test, assignment, practical and end semester exam. Merits and demerits of weighted mean are almost same as arithmetic mean. Like arithmetic mean, weighted mean are also calculated by assumed mean. Dear students, I am sharing some sample problem. Please take a screenshot of this page and practice this question. If you are facing any problem, please leave your comment in comment box. I will try to reply as soon as possible. In this video, we have discussed basics of arithmetic mean. In the next video, I will discuss geometric mean. Till then, like and share this video. Press the bell icon to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.